What's going on, everybody? Sean Pierce Johnson here. We're at the first annual San Francisco Amp Show, and I am with the man himself, Mr. Frank Falbo of Fishman, the man who basically decided to throw everything that we thought we knew about guitar pickups out the window and try to stir up stuff. So what the hell, man? Tell us a little bit about what exactly Fishman has been doing and what you've been heading up.
Well, actually, I mean, so it came to us through an aerospace company. It's really phenomenal technology. It's a 48-layer PCB. Each layer has a coil, a precision coil on it. So it's a different way of listening to the strings, but it's a very traditional way of interfacing with the strings as far as the magnetic circuit and everything goes. It's just that the sound that we can get out of this thing, it's like it just blows the doors off of it. So Larry Fishman and his team, obviously a great bunch of engineers. They're amazing over there. We were able to figure out all these ways that we can utilize this stuff to, to get sounds that we're kind of familiar with, that we like, that we want, but we're kind of stuck, getting like, well, I got to pick, it's only can be this guitar. It's got to be a PAF from Thursday because the one from Wednesday was no good. All that stuff is taken out of the mix. It's all taken out of the equation.
So it's essentially given us the ultimate tones and ultimately, at the end of it all, ultimate consistency.
Yes, it's consistent, and I can cherry pick like the best thing about an underwound PAF and the best thing about a muscular sort of overwound PAF, and I can blend them without losing the salient features of either. So everything is all the good and none of the bad. We talked yesterday in a nice forum with a bunch of other pickup makers, and that's the dilemma that they all have is, well, I can put a few more turns on, but then I lose this. Well, I can strengthen the magnet, but then I'm going to lose that. And so everything's a balancing act, and in this case, that's all out the window.
Cool. And one of the things that I love about what Fishman's doing here at the show is what you're playing through right now is an old school Ibanez S. Like, look how skinny that body is. Like, wafer thin body.
Yeah, there's nothing to this guitar. And so it kind of becomes the ironic demo of pickups in that, there's not much happening on this thing acoustically, but yet the pickups, they reveal what the guitar sounds like, but at the same time they sound really good whatever they're in.
So we're here to prove a point. He's got a bunch of guitars with a bunch of the pickups. You're going to hear them now. This is the single coil set, so let's hear some more.
Yes, I'll give you, so a single coil set, 2 voices per pickup, because again, we're not bound by these traditions, right? So I have a 54 type of voice. I flip this switch and it's a little beefy or Texas-y kind of sound. But another thing I have wired in this guitar is the high frequency tilt. So I'm going to throw to that last. And that's like if you like a warmer Strat that has some of the negative effects of cable on it, that warming up that happens across 25 feet of cable, because these are impervious to cable loss, but yet I want it, some guys like that. It's part of their rig, right?
It's kind of like the cable length simulation that Line 6 did.
It's kind of in that vein, because when you go to a wireless, you lose the cable, so you have to decide, am I going to put some extra capacitance here to sweeten up the top end?
All right, let's hear these things.
All right. So that's neck pickup, voice 2, so that's a little bumped. If I go back to like a 50.
You lose a little bit of the muscle, but you get some of that glassy back.
Right. And then I go back to voice 2, but with that high frequency tilt.
Sweet.
Some warmth, yeah.
Awesome.
Some warmth, and all the in-between positions are great. A lot of times, let's call them different types of pickups, right? Rather than a traditional Strat pickup, they lose that in-between quacky sound in 2 and 4. They don't interact. They don't play well with each other. None of that's true in this case.
I think I found my Strat pickups.
Great.
Sweet. All right, so let's jump into the classic humbuckers that we've got going on. All right, we're back with another Ibanez S style. Again, the thin body. We're trying to prove a point here, people. So these are the classic humbuckers that you got going on. What do we have with these guys?
So neck voice 1 is very vintage and sweet, kind of like an Alnico 2 PAF. Voice 1 in the bridge is a little more of what I call a calibrated PAF type voice. So it sounds a little more like, something that's been, bumped up a little bit, but it's still totally in PAF territory. Back over in the neck, when I go to voice 2, I get a deeper low mids, but at the same time, I get more glass on the top end. And that's a sound you can't wind a pickup for. So I don't care what, you can try to push and prod in this direction or that direction, but that's kind of a proof of, some things that you can't, like I said, some of the limitations of a wire wound coil. In the bridge position, voice 2 is sort of that hot rodded 70s, humbucker tone. So, a big old 16K, rockin' humbucker.
Cool. Let's hear it.
Okay, so neck, pickup, voice 1. Now I'm going to voice 2. Neck, voice 2. Both of them together. And then on this one, I do have a 5-way switch, so there's some coil split positions in there where, I got one of these coils, one of those coils. So you can mess around with that stuff, too. A lot of times a pickup that's powered or whatever, active pickups and stuff, they have trouble with coil splits. On the Fluence humbuckers, you can choose one coil or the other coil, just like you can on a passive pickup. It's like a passive coil split, so you could pick up a little 60-cycle hum, but it's, it's very negligible. The amount of hum these coils make is nothing compared to a big wire.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can tell through the YouTube compression or not, but standing in the room right now, I mean, he's got the volume up. We're playing through a pretty nice, crunchy Friedman here, and there's no hum. I'm not sensing any right now, and that is incredible.
And this one is, like this voice that I'm in right now is a true single coil. It's just the neck pickup, one of the coils, and that's...
We have no hum. We have no hum, people. We have none.
Right.
This is unreal. Cool. Sweet. Sweet. Let's go modern. Okay, so now I've never seen this guitar before. What is this thing?
They made this for like 1 year. It's a 580T. They made it sort of telly-ish from the front. There's a couple of humbuckers in it. From the back, they rounded it all out and scooped it out. And, it's just, there's a reason that they only made it for a year. But I was able to get one, and it's a lot of fun. It's hollow under the guard, too. So, like, this whole area is all open. It's just a fun thing. And of course, there's a gigantic Floyd Rose on it.
And we got the modern humbuckers in here. It looks like a pretty modern guitar, modern humbuckers. Let's hear what these things can do.
Yeah, so then these two voices. Voice 1 down, that's going to be like for everybody that's ever played an active pickup for the last 35 years. These are bladed coils. It interacts like what you think it should act like. Then you pull up to voice 2, and like the classic, in the neck, that voice 2 has got very crisp top end and a more throaty low mid. Back to that pickup that you can't wind for. In the bridge, now you're almost into like passive but really high output passive ceramic territory. So anyway, that's used those types of pickups. They like it, the voice 2. So we'll start with voice 1 in both positions. I will do my best to do this some kind of rock and roll justice, but
all right, here you go.
Yeah.
Sweet stuff. But that's not the only modern humbuckers they do. I see an 8-string sitting over there. So we're going to show you what those can do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, through the magic of time, space, and TV magic, I bring you Mr. Greg Marra. Modern 8-string humbuckers. What exactly do you find as a player in these pickups that you haven't found in others?
Well, it's just the dynamic range, I think, that other pickups, maybe if you're looking at the waveform, it looks like a brick wall. You know, you're going to have all of the frequencies bumped, and for this, I think it maintains, that nice EQ that I think we all want, with maybe a little boost pedal, different stages of gain that you would get with a pedal, and maybe moderate gain on the amp, but you still don't feel like it's like a brick wall waveform. That's what I like about them.
Awesome. And the cool thing about what we've done here today is that amp, none of the knobs have been turned the entire way through this video. Every single guitar has been the same gain settings, no pedals. We're running some pedals on the floor, yeah, but none of them have been used. That's 4 different guitars, all with a wide variety of gain staging, and that is what's really incredible. You could really find any sound that you're looking for out of these pickups. So I know I'm a believer. Are you a believer? I hope so. Until next time, Sean Pierce Johnson. Cheers.